Good evening and welcome to the March 3rd, 2015 regular business meeting. The board will now adopt this evening's agenda. Before doing so, does any member have any amendments? Hearing none, I did receive an amendment for item number 8, subsection 3 on page 2. The vendor should be Craftco Inc. instead of Klossner's Equipment Company, Inc. May we have a motion to make that change?
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda with the amendment.
I'll second. Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Is that just a typo Scrivener's issue, or was there a change to the bid?
It was brought to my attention by the Central Services
Ms.
Department.
Brewer.
Ms. Brewer, do you want to respond to that?
Okay, thank you.
All right, it's properly moved and second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Okay, the agenda was adopted with that one correction. May we now have approval of the February 17, 2015 regular business meeting minutes?
I move to approve the February 17, 2015 regular business meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second. Third.
Commissioner Hambrick, second. Properly moved and second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
We will now have public comment. Mr. Chairman, we do have individuals listed for public comment. Citizens will be given 3 minutes maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Commissioners. Please state your name and county of residence for the record. Speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers should be courteous, respectful, and not make disparaging remarks or use abusive language when addressing the board.
Dr. Henry Anderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. In continuing my public commenting on my concerns with crime and gang before the bus system starts its implementation on March the 21st, and the need to increase the number of police officers, to put money and resources in the gang intelligence unit. Now, the third thing, and I was glad to hear good news from Director Mr. Brett Lavender, the Department of Information Technology. Clayton County needs a sophisticated computer tracking system, much more than what the Titan system, which is the Clayton County's Police Department in-house system, is. And Director Lavender told me monies had already been appropriated when the citizens passed SPLOSH, that are already implemented to increase the record. They call it on the records management keeping system. Now, Chief Cohilas informed me before the meeting that also this can also be beefed up to connect the sheriff's department, the police department, and all of the court systems with in terms of crime and beefing up information technology. So the situation is, it's going to be at the level of you and Chief Cohilas as to when you will implement this and give it the green light. Since SPLOSH has already been passed, monies have already been appropriated for this. It's just when you decide as a commission to green light it. Because I got this good news, which was very wonderful to hear, and thank you, Chief Cohilas and Director Lavender, for providing me with that great information. I will be on this situation coming before you on the speeding up of this implementation. Commissioner Attorney Judge Ms. Shana Rooks, about gangs, in your Rooks report, April of 2014, you had Dr. Alpha Fowler Bryant, the District Health Director of the Clayton County Board of Health, said, right here, our challenges in Clayton County: juvenile delinquency, gangs, and teen pregnancy threaten the well-being and future of youth and their families. In 2003, juvenile crimes in Clayton County soared to significantly higher rates than in the 1990s. In 2007, nearly 30% of all arrests in Clayton County were juvenile arrests. Fiscal year 2008 data indicates 35,528 Clayton County youths aged 10 to 16 were at risk of entering the juvenile court system at this time. As I say that, I'm going to be presenting facts from the Rooks report, April 2014. In the Clayton News Daily There was an article by Kathy Jeffcoat, who's now the editor, would do yearly reports on crime in Clayton County. And Wednesday, January the 4th, she did an article, and my time is up. So what I will do is I will continue this at the next commission meeting as I continue to present you more facts on crime and gangs, and as a commission, how we need to beef it up since our bus system has already been approved and will be implemented on Saturday, March 21st. Thank you.
Ms. Linda Granger.
Good evening, Sheriff, Vice Sheriff, Commissioner. I come tonight and I ask you all to act on my behalf.
I'm sorry, could you please speak up and speak into the microphone,
Yes,
please?
ma'am. I come tonight to ask you all to ask on my behalf. I filed a formal complaint with the Clayton County Public School System. What happened to me on the 23rd, I called the superintendent. I filed a complaint on the 24th. And I called down here and nobody couldn't give me the code enforcement, but I did stay up and find it. I do have the father information on the female. I got her nationality. I got the color of the car. I got the tag number and what county it would end. The tag, foot to counter tag. So my concern also, if we are checking and our taxpaying money paying for students within the Clayton County school system, but I have the right not to be afraid of animals or people attacking me when I go to the school system to fight for other children with disability. And when I got out of the truck, this dog came toward me. I said, baby, get the dog, I'm afraid of the dog. So the dog came. The person let the window down, did her curse and said, let the dog do his ass, you know. And so I took my phone out, because they said, take picture. I took picture of the dog doing his business. Okay, come and find y'all do have that law which said state of Georgia, County of Clay County Order number 2010-173 said the 14-114B and D that what I filed under stated what supposed to be done. Okay, the picture showing her with the dog doing the bidding. It's showing that the little boy never had control. It also said y'all policy age appropriate with the dog in the side. Okay, the age not appropriate, but the side can be appropriate. But the dog never did get in the car, and you can see when she got out of the car, calling me old lady and her profanity and cussing me and stuff. I took picture of her out of the car. The dog and the little boy still trying to get the dog. I shouldn't have to go through that. And then with the school officer, I went in there to get him to assist me. She got right out of the car, called me old this and nosy so-and-so. She may not get to be my age, but still I'm supposed to be protected. So they let her say, she said a word, not more than what she said. Okay, regardless of what, she violated the code and plus cursed in front of student and threatened me and asking me what I'm gonna do. I asked you all to investigate this, and I'm also gonna see whoever else can protect me and have this investigated. Also, I got picture of the dog and her get out of the car and everything. If you all want to see that end, I have the picture.
Well, did you contact the police? Did you make a report on it?
I was told by officer to see what the school gonna do first, and
No,
then
ma'am.
come.
You need to have them to make a police report on it. If you had that confrontation,
I did call 911.
Did the officer not come out?
Yeah, the officer came. I gave the officer the information. I was in the press office. I gave the officer the information and showed him the picture and everything. Dog was not on the lease. The dog was doing his business on the school, on the cement, not in no grass or nothing,
Were you on school property?
on school property.
You need to contact Chief Cox and demand that a police report be made and then follow up with the school system and the police department, the school police, in reference to the incident that happened on their property.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Well, I did that complaint. I had that. They said they would give him a copy to do the investigator. So I guess he did the investigate. But I'm not pleased with
Get him
that.
to show you the investigation.
That's what I asked for today.
We don't have the authority to tell them that.
Okay, but I
That's
asked
between
for
you
that
and them.
today.
You as a citizen who made the report, the defendant,
Okay.
have a right to demand that.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
okay, thank you.
Linda Ingram. Linda Ingram.
Turner and Commissioners. Chairman Turner, you know why I'm here, right? I had a conversation with Chairman Turner Sunday night about the dog. Did you read it?
Yes.
Okay. There's been a lot of going on. And first of all, let me say, I don't want to be disrespectful to the Chief Porter or anybody down there. I like them all. I've liked them for the whole 2 years I've been around them, okay? Do not want to make them mad tonight. Okay, the dog, died. Had I known that they needed $187 to get that dog, I would have written a check and took it over there and took that dog back. You know how passionate I am. Okay, I was challenged today or told if I could find some information today, I should get it, and I did. I found it. So I am going to give y'all, if you would like this, and I got it from Angels Among Us, one of the best rescues here. I'm going to read it, and then if you want a copy, I will. Angels Among Us was the one that said they had a hold on the dog, and they were coming to get it. This is coming from the president of the founder of it, okay? First of all, I'm nervous, okay? We picked Clayton this year as our number 1 shelter to help, but they gave us all the small dogs to others, and then when we tried and helped, they tell us they can't put holes on dogs for us, so we're going to help other shelters. We met with Mike, and I don't know who Mike is, like 7 months ago, but no changes has happened. The dogs have Provo and are sick. We met Brittany this week, and she said nothing could be done. We were the number 1 rescue to help Clayton, and I don't understand. This comes from Lisa, I don't know her name, but she's the founder of it. Okay, I need to hurry up. Okay. The second part was she said, then she said, the new thing is they don't hold dogs. We won't be able to help if this is true. We can't send people to waste our time, and when we get there, we find out that they've already adopted the dogs because we're having to come a long ways. This dog had a great foster and would have been adopted, had a beachfront condo. We are all very sick about this. The second part was this dog was found dead. After we actually came to get him, they told us that they would not hold the dog for us. They adopted him out, and we're very upset. We would have gotten the dog had they helped the dog for us. So here's all of this, and if you want a copy, you can get it. Angels Among Us is the biggest rescue, and you know it's in Alpharetta. When they leave, there won't be many more rescues to get these dogs, Jeff.
Refresh my memory. What type of dog was this?
It was a golden shepherd. It was 2 years old. Kimberly, you have the picture, right?
That's all right.
Okay, that's okay, she said. Okay, but I did contact Chief Turner Sunday night about it, and asked you to read the comments and everything. Mm-hmm. And would you like to do the comment that the owner of the dog said? Do you remember what that comment was?
Now you feel free.
Okay, the owner had died. And the mother was 79 years old. She had the dog. The dog got out for some reason, and I don't know if it jumped the fence or what, but she had called her son-in-law to come get the dog. While her son-in-law was coming to get the dog, there was a knock at the door. The animal control truck driver told him that he had to pick up the dog, and I guess she asked him how much it would cost. She was unable to do it because she was elderly and sick. He said $87 plus $100 to get the dog back. She said, "Man, I don't have $187. I've just buried my son. I do not have the money." So she let the dog go to animal control because she didn't have the money and couldn't take the dog back. So the dog was shared and all of that, and then it come down to Gloria Waters, and it said Douglasville. I read some more comments today on it. Had adopted the dog. Well, she took it straight home, put it in the backyard, and it dug its way out, and it was killed side of the road. And why would you take a dog that his owner has just died, it's lost, it doesn't know what to do, and she puts it in the backyard. The dog dies within 5 or 10 minutes. It was found side of the road somewhere, side of the road. So before, when I would have gotten the dog. If somebody had called me, just called me and said, look, this lady wants her dog back because her son just died, I would have took the money. I don't know, something needs to be done out there about it.
Okay, if you would, please leave with Ms. Barnes there, those emails.
Okay,
That you
and
have,
another
that you're gonna give me a
thing,
copy of.
there was a pit bull down there, not long ago, and I had,
I'm sorry, Ms. Ingram, your time has expired.
Just leave that with Ms. Barnes.
okay, and the dog got lost.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you, Ms. Ingram.
okay.
Kimberly Kirby.
Chairman Turner and
Good to
Commissioners.
see you.
I'm hoping you can answer these questions for me tonight. Has the investigation of Silverman begun yet? And in the minutes from the February 17th meeting, a section reads, "This shows that he did not have the county's best interests at heart because he allowed for delays which allowed him to get more money and decrease the amount of money that could be put towards the other projects, especially the animal control building, that now has to be reduced because there is not enough money in the budget to fund what was originally planned. Why short the new animal control building? Why not short the other SPLOST projects that have not begun? The new building is already smaller than the one we have now, as far as appropriately sized kennels are concerned. An even smaller facility only means more deaths. The last 2 weeks of February, more dogs were killed than in the whole month of February of last year. This is unacceptable. Nowhere in the county ordinances does it deem any breed of dog unadoptable. Why is it that our animal control claims 5 breeds are unadoptable? This practice is a sure death sentence to many, especially since untrained eyes are labeling these dogs. Since the much-needed cameras have been installed at animal control, is it really necessary to have escorts to go to the back? There are many more useful duties that could be performed by the employees, like helping with rescue efforts, cleaning, proper cleaning to prevent the parvo and coccidia that is continuously coming out of our animal control, outdoor exercises, perhaps developing a much-needed foster program, and if that was to come about, I would challenge animal control to begin recruiting for fosters from right here within our own police department, because we have a lot of police officers with families and they would make good foster parents. Thank you for your time.
I have a question, Ms. Kirby. What did you say about there's nowhere in the code does it say a breed of animals is what?
In the ordinances, there's nothing that says that there are 5 breeds that are unadoptable. But yet they practice this at the county shelter. It's the pit bull, the Shar-Pei, the Rottweiler.
Right, but I thought we classified them as something in the code. did we not?
Violent, aggressive,
Vicious. No.
vicious.
There's something else besides unadoptable. They're just classified as vicious. Is that it?
And vicious are not adoptable,
Okay. Why are they classified as vicious?
because they vicious.
It's not really the dogs, it's the owners.
Okay, and to answer to your first question about the investigation, I believe it has been assigned to outside counsel.
It has?
Yes, so should be underway.
Great.
The animal control shelter has more kennels. I think we cut down on the actual square footage and put, Chief, about 30,
We have 133 kennels will go into the new building.
and the old one,
We're also planning on remodeling the old animal.
come on up here and say that where we can record it.
I have a question now. Are these the large kennels? Are there as many large kennels as there are?
Chief, gonna take. Right quickly, Chief.
There's a breakdown of various size kennels dealing for cats and various size dogs. I don't know the amount per animal right now. We do have 133 kennels. Also, this new building is going to be set up more as very much geared towards adoption. There's going to be a family bonding area where people that want to adopt can come in and meet with, interact with the animals. There's an outside exercise area, and we have a dog park that's planned to go adjoining. We're also planning on remodeling the old building and being able to expand the use of it so that it will end up with more than double the present space.
And the old building's going to be used for just like.
Well, Well, for both purposes.
Well, y'all can continue that conversation
Yeah.
later, but I just wanted him to get that part recorded. But the project is moving forward despite of what happened with Silverman resigning. It is moving full steam ahead.
The same size and everything?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
We will now have proclamations. The first is the Clayton County observes March 2015 as Procurement Month. May we have Nancy Harrison, VP of Georgia Chapter of NIGP, which is the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing, the Director of Central Services, Deborah Brewer, and the department staff come forward, as well as any other representatives that are present. I would also ask the commissioners to rise from their respective seats at the table and join them for the presentation.
I had no idea it was procurement month. Kids get school after this? Post office closed. Go back just a little bit, I mean, right there, our lady here on the end, right there. Okay.
All right, on three. 1, 2, and 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Last time. 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
And the proclamation reads, whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department has a significant impact on the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of Clayton County government through its centralized procurement system. And whereas, in addition to the procurement of goods and services, county procurement professionals engage in the award of contracts, material management, and initiatives to ensure that small, local, women, and minority business enterprises have the opportunity to participate in county contracts. And whereas, the Clayton County Central Services Department recognizes, supports, and practices the public procurement values and guiding principles of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency established by the National Institute of Government Purchasing as fundamental tenets of the public procurement profession. And whereas, the month of March has been designated as Procurement Month by the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing. And whereas, purchasing organizations throughout the world engage in efforts during the month of March to inform the public about the important role performed by procurement professionals. And whereas, the Central Services Department has scheduled numerous outreach events, including a procurement open house and a vendor fair, to further expand awareness of procurement functions and opportunities in Clayton County. Now, therefore, I, Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman, on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2015 as Clayton County Procurement Month in Clayton County, Georgia. I encourage all citizens to engage in special efforts during this month to recognize the importance of the role played by the procurement profession in business, industry, and government. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Clayton County, Georgia to be affixed this 3rd day of March in the year 2015. Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman.
We will now have a proclamation whereby Clayton County observes March 2015 as March for Meals Month. May we have Meals on Team, board members, public safety officials and all other representatives that are present to please come forward at this time.
You can come right in front of yourself. Come on. Keep coming. Right there and turn my way. Just a little bit. Good. There. Come bring it down. Right. That way down. Sean, come down. Right. There. Good. There. Yeah. But you, that's been all your life. You're like that. You take the feathers there.
About my band, Christy.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, Mr. Long.
Whereas 2015 marks the 50th anniversary of the amendment of the Older Americans Act signed into law on March 22, 1972 by President Richard Nixon. The amended act established a national nutrition program for seniors 60 years and older that has provided millions of adults with much-needed health and wellness services. And whereas the Meals on Wheels Association of America established the National March for Meals campaign in March 2002 to recognize the historic month and raise awareness regarding the importance of Older American Act senior nutrition programs. And whereas Meals on Wheels volunteers serve as the backbone of senior nutrition home delivery meal programs. Their support goes beyond delivering nutritious meals to homebound seniors and deserve to be publicly recognized and acknowledged for their dedication. And whereas, in observance of the 2015 March for Meals campaign, Clayton County Meals on Wheels will partner throughout the month of March with local businesses to help raise awareness about the program and salute Clayton County's Meals on Wheels community champions. During the week of March 16th through the 20th, Meals on Wheels drivers and volunteers, such as Mr. Walter Green, a Meals on Wheels volunteer since 2007, and husband and wife meal delivery team, Mr. and Mrs. Charlie Wiggins, who have been delivering meals since 2008, will be saluted for their years of service. Additional Meals on Wheels community partners and advocates who share a vested interest in our community will be recognized for helping to ensure that no senior goes hungry in Clayton County. Included are Fresh Express, the Rotary Club, UPS, We Are Clayton, the Aging Advisory Board, the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, Clayton County Fire and Emergency Services, Clayton County Parks and Recreation, Clayton County Sheriff's Office, Clayton County Police Department, and Miss Vicki Frederick of Superior Court, Clerk Office Deputy Clerk. And whereas, in 2014, Clayton County Meals on Wheels program provided 2,648 nutritious meals per month and 31,780 meals per year to seniors throughout the county. These meals have allowed many of the county's older residents to remain independent in their home for years. In addition to providing meals, the county's Meals on Wheels program serves as a powerful socialization opportunity for seniors to help combat the loneliness and isolation that many experience, and as a tool to provide health and wellness checks on the county's most vulnerable population. Now, therefore, I, Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman, on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim March 2015 as March for Meals Month in honor of those who diligently serve and support the Clayton County Meals on Wheels program. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Clayton County, Georgia, to be affixed this 3rd day of March in the year 2015. Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman.
That's right. I know his face looked familiar. He used to be at all of them. He was good. He was so good. He could do that. He could do that.
The board will now consider request of Deborah Brewer, Director of Central Services.
Ms. Brewer, take them all together unless a board member would like to take one individually.
I might have questions.
Good afternoon. Central Services has 6 tonight. The first is a request for contract amendment for RFB Package 1435 Bridge Maintenance at various locations in Clayton County, Georgia, awarded by the Board of Commissioners on October 7, 2014. This recommendation is being made pursuant to Section 2136, Section 1 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances, General Purchasing Methods. The recommendation is to amend the contract with Sunbelt Structures Incorporated, located in Tucker, Georgia. The amendment is to correct the date of the addition of the Georgia Department of Transportation specifications, Attachment A, 2014 bridge maintenance at various locations in Clayton County, Georgia, and Attachment B, project-specific special provisions of the contract. There will be no additional cost to the county. The second is a recommendation for award for RFB Package 1471, Clayton County Transportation and Development Department, bid opening December 17, 2014. The recommendation is being made pursuant to Section 2136, Section 1 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances, General Purchasing Methods. The recommendation is to approve this purchase in amount of $117,815 and award to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder meeting the specifications, Alltech Industries, located in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. One signal bucket truck at $117,815. Funding is available through the Transportation and Development Department's SPLOST Fund fiscal year ending 2009. The Transportation and Development Department's recommendation and bid tabulation summary are attached for your review and information. The third is a recommendation for award utilizing a street maintenance equipment cooperative to purchase a crack sealer for the Clayton County Transportation and Development Department. The cooperative is Houston Galveston Area Council, SM 1014. The recommendation is made pursuant to Section 2114 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances. The recommendation is to utilize the cooperative to purchase a crack sealer in the amount of $55,169 from Craftco Incorporated in Church, Texas. Funding is available through the Transportation and Development SPLOST Fund fiscal year ending 2009. The Transportation and Development Department's recommendation, vendor quote, and the cooperative invitation to bid are attached for your review and information. Number 4 is a recommendation for award utilizing a street maintenance equipment cooperative for the purchase of a road tech paver for the Clayton County Transportation and Development Department using the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative SM 1014. The recommendation is being made pursuant to Section 2114 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances. The recommendation is to utilize the Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative to buy a road tech paver in the amount of $305,195 from Klossner Equipment Company of Church, Texas. Funding is available through the Transportation and Development Department's SPLOST Fund fiscal year ending 2009. The Transportation and Development Department recommendation, vendor quote, and cooperative invitation to bid are attached for your review and information. The fifth item is recommendation for a sole source award for the purchase of RTC traffic signal equipment for Transportation and Development Department. Purchase order requisition number 0001802. The recommendation is being made pursuant to Section 21367 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances. The recommendation is to approve this purchase of RTC switch time equipment in the amount of $25,257.20 from Temple Incorporated, located in Decatur, Alabama. Funding is available through the Transportation and Development SPLOST Fund fiscal year ending 2009.
the Transportation and Development's recommendation, purchase order requisition, the vendor quote, and sole source letter are attached for your review and information. The sixth and final item is a recommendation for sole source award for the purchase of RTC traffic signal equipment for the Transportation and Development Department, PORA, number 00001705. The recommendation is being made pursuant to Section 21367 of the Clayton County Code of Ordinances. The recommendation is to approve this purchase of RTC flasher assembly equipment in the amount of $26,236.32 from Temple Incorporated, located in Decatur, Alabama. Funding is available through the Transportation and Development SPLOST Fund fiscal year ending 2009. The Transportation and Development's recommendation, purchase order requisition, vendor quote, and sole source letter are attached for your review and information. We request for you to approve the recommendations, authorize the chairman or his designee to execute all necessary documents to accomplish the intent of the contract, and to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget accordingly.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Properly moved and second. Any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner
Ms.
Rhodes.
Brewer, on two of these recommendations that you give to us, you recommend using Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative?
Yes.
Why is that? Why are you guys deviating from the prior purchasing process?
Because of the nature of the equipment that we were looking for when we did a market survey and sourced it, that they were the least expensive for the equipment.
For both of the ones that you have presented here?
Yes.
Okay. And then on your sole source recommendations, they are, the company that you guys have recommended for us are the only ones who have traffic signals?
No, they have traffic signals, but they have to align with the current programming and equipment that we have, because there's computer programming involved and it connects to other equipment, and this is the only equipment that could connect properly with that.
They are a prior vendor for the same equipment?
Yes.
Okay.
For some of the same equipment, not all of it, but switches have to connect.
Okay, those are my questions.
Any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, the board will hear request of Dennis Johnson, Finance Department.
Please take them together, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Commissioners. I have two budget amendments and one refund. First one is Budget Amendment 2-19 in the amount of $75,000, and this is to provide additional funds to furnish the Annex 3 renovation. The next budget amendment is Budget Amendment 4-105 in the amount of $24,750, and this is to amend the budget to provide funding for right-of-way acquisition services for the Mundy's Mill Culvert extension. The third item I have is a refund to Akeem Hassan, doing business as Sun Food Market, in the amount of $1,800, and this was not approved to receive an alcohol retail license based on non-recommendation from the Clayton County Police Department.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any questions?
I have a question.
Commissioner Hammer.
Are we going to start doing the criminal background check first? We mentioned that a couple weeks ago. Or do we have to do it in this process?
I know I made the inquiry and was informed that because we get $450 after they apply, then that we still get some
And we
money.
don't have to.
You're going to pay for the background check.
Right.
But I think this was done prior to. I could be wrong, though. Chief?
The entire, good evening, Board. The entire process is handled through the Community Development Department. What we do is vet it through the police department. We check criminal activity as well as the location, and we recommend to them, but they have the sole control of whether or not they get the business. But on the front end, they do accept funding for, that type of process.
So they apply through them?
They apply and they pay the fees, and if,
Fill out the information, then forward it to the police department.
yes.
Okay.
And we defer it back to them and tell them, in writing that it's their call, basically.
Thank you.
All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Now the board will consider a request of Renee Bright, Director of Human Resources.
I think I have one item tonight. The library director requests to delete a library assistant position that's currently located at the Forest Park branch and create an administrative assistant position at the headquarters location. There's a need for administrative support for the assistant library directors, and this employee has that previous experience. There'll be no financial impact to the budget. However, it will require the movement of funds. So therefore, I also request that the board authorize the CFO to amend the budget accordingly.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Probably moved and second. Any questions?
Will anybody be losing their job?
No, the person that is currently in the library assistant position will be moved to the administrative assistant.
Okay, thank you.
And that's where the moving of the funds come in, from one library to the other.
One org to the other org.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
The board will now hear and consider requests of Christy Barnes, Chief Staff Attorney.
Please take them together unless a member wants to take one separately.
Mr. Chairman, could we consider 54 and 56 separately?
54 and 56.
Yes.
Okay, please.
I'm sorry,
Oh, wait a minute.
54 and 56?
All right.
What about 60? Because I have some questions on that one.
You want
60, yeah.
You want 60?
60.
60. Did we resolve 59, or how did I get back on here?
No, we didn't resolve. They had to get some
We didn't, we
answers.
was bringing it back.
Yep.
Did you
I
say
mean-
60 also?
Yeah, 60 also. 54, 56, and 60. Are there any others? Okay, if you would, take the rest of the resolutions first, and then let's come back and take 54, 56, and 60 separately.
First is Resolution Number 2015-50, which is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to accept forfeited vehicles from Clayton County Police Department drug investigations, to authorize the sale of such property in a manner as will be in the best interest of the county, to provide for the disbursal of sale proceeds, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, to provide an effective date of this resolution, and for other purposes. This is for the seizure of a 2004 Cadillac CTS, a 1999 Chevrolet Silverado C150 truck, a 1999 Ford Explorer, a Motovox scooter, and a 1996 Honda Accord EX. Resolution number 2015-51 is a resolution authorizing the Clayton County Police Department on behalf of Clayton County to enter into a memorandum of understanding with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to allow certain officers to participate in the agency's drug interdiction program as customs officers accepted for the purpose of drug interdiction, to authorize the chief of police to execute the memorandum of understanding and to designate which police department employees will participate in the program, to authorize the chairman to otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution, and for other purposes. Next is ordinance number 2015-52, which is an ordinance to amend the Code of Clayton County, Georgia as amended, specifically Code of Clayton County, Georgia, Part 2, Chapter 14, Animals, Article 10, Impoundment and Adoption, by repealing and deleting the existing Section 14-253.1, microchip implant of dogs impounded for running at large, etc., and substituting in lieu thereof a new Section 14-253.1, microchip implant of dogs impounded for running at large, etc., to repeal conflicting laws, ordinances, and resolutions,
to provide for severability, to provide an effective date of this ordinance, and for other purposes. This will allow impounded dogs to have a microchip identifier implanted upon their first impoundment as opposed to being implanted after a second impoundment, and it will also reduce the fee for the microchip implanting from $25 to $15. Resolution number 2015-53 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of 3 condemned vehicles to be assigned to the police department fleet in a manner as will be in the best interest of the county, to authorize the directors of central services and fleet maintenance to perform all acts required by this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. This is a 2008 Dodge Charger, a 2003 Honda Accord EX, and a 2004 Ford Ranger Super Truck. Next is resolution number 2015-55, which is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to enter into a license agreement with Netball America Incorporated to host the 2015 U.S. Open Junior Netball America Championships at the Carl Rodenizer Recreation Center, to authorize the chairman to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. This event will be free and open to the public and will occur on Saturday, April 11th, 2015, from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. with no capital expense to the county. Resolution number 2015-57 is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to enter into 2 license agreements with Challenger Sports Corporation to utilize the volleyball area at Clayton County International Park, to host a beach soccer camp and a beach soccer tournament, to authorize the chairman to execute the agreements, and to otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. The soccer camp will be held July 13th through the 17th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the soccer tournament will be July 18th through July 19th. Resolution number 2015-58 is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to accept grant funds awarded by the American Libraries Association and the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority on behalf of the Clayton County Library System, to authorize the chairman to execute all necessary documents and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, all as may be required, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. This is a grant totaling $100,000 and will be used for program development, training, and resource sharing of financial literacy information throughout the county. Resolution number 2015-59 is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to establish the Clayton County Youth Commission, to authorize the chairman to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
Do I have a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Are there any questions on any of the items?
Yes.
Commissioner Rooks.
On Resolution 2015-51, this is directed to Chief Porter.
Chief.
I know the agreement says no without compensation, but is the police department going to come to the board asking for compensation for this? The Homeland Security extension of the officers?
No, ma'am. In the past, with the relationships, they've augmented our salaries and overtime to a certain degree, but at this point, we don't anticipate any additional fees other than dedicating one person resource to that particular initiative.
Okay.
Okay. Major Green just said we're just going to swear it. They're just going to swear this particular officer in as a federal agent of the Homeland Security Initiative.
Right, but he won't request additional funding from this board from doing
ma'am.
that. Okay. That was it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, this might also apply to him. On 21554, Chief.
That's separate. We haven't
we're taking that
considered that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But stand by, though.
One more. Regarding the Youth Commission 2015 59. Afternoon. I know we talked last time at the last board meeting about this. The only changes made was to the age.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We discussed inviting another individual from another jurisdiction in to talk to us about that. That would be moot if this passes, right? Because I just needed to get some more information before voting on it.
I
don't think it's moot, because I did speak to Dr. Thomas in D.C. at NACO, and they were pretty excited, of course, because they feel like everybody's following them from Chatham County, Savannah, Chatham County, and they're really excited about us, the possibility of Clayton County doing a youth commission. And once again, she did say, hey, we'll come up there or whatever.
I think the idea, Commissioner, was to, once the board ratifies this, we will come back with the bylaws as well as talking to the other jurisdictions and provide some additional documentation to the board at that time.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I need to abstain for cause from 2015-58. I have several securities licenses regulated by FINRA. It's probably best if I abstain from that grant.
58.
Okay, reference to Resolution 2015-58, Commissioner Edmondson abstains. The rest is unanimous.
Resolution number 2015-54 is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, or MARTA, Police Department to establish protocol and procedures for rendering law enforcement services within unincorporated Clayton County, to authorize the chairman or the chief of police as his designee to execute the MOU, to authorize the chairman to otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution, and for other purposes.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Properly moved and second. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Hambrick.
I need some clarity on who's providing police when MARTA starts.
Chief.
I heard a number sometime back about MARTA was going to have 40 additional police officers, and now I'm hearing different numbers.
Well, initially, we talked before this year, and they approached me, and we had some conversations about, and they said that they were going to bring between 23 and 25 police officers initially. Now, since that time, I've had some additional conversations along with the chairman and the COO about their operational commitments, and I think that number has been reduced to 10 officers, 10 officers and 8 vehicles, something like that, but we,
And that's multiple shifts, so there might be 3 or 4 people in the county at any one time, right?
I don't know, operationally speaking, how they plan on, executing their part of it, but, we're prepared to do what we need to do from a public safety standpoint. We have a very good police department. I have confidence in the police department. But again, the initial conversation that was discussed, they talked about 23 to 25 people, and that's been reduced.
Well, it hasn't been reduced. It was, the 25 number comes from a full build out of all of the lines by the end of 2020, I think it is, that they should be 25 officers or more, is what I was told. But this 10 to 15 officers on the onset is because of the 3 lines when they start on March 21st.
Is that part
I
of the
was not
MOU?
privileged. The MOU does
No.
not give specific numbers, but the MOU just deals with who's responsible for what along the bus lines, who is going.
It doesn't say bus lines.
Well, you know what I mean. Well, not bus lines, but like when they arrest somebody to go to the Clayton County Jail, sets protocol. And that's what the MOU deals with.
What are your questions?
It says rail stations, but we don't have any of those.
Are we gonna get something in writing? What if they change it again from 15, 25 to 10, from 10 to something?
They can do anything they want. We voted to be full members of MARTA, and they can do anything they want. We have no discretion.
But
That true?
again, this MOU outlines protocol and policies and the interaction between the local law enforcement and MARTA officers.
How will these officers be used from MARTA?
Commissioner, I have no idea. Again, I cannot control how they, direct their,
Right.
their units or whatever.
Any other questions?
I do.
Commissioner Rooks?
It would appear to me that the MOU wouldn't be necessary if you have officers in a particular jurisdiction. If you get arrested in Clayton County, you just go to the Clayton County Jail, right?
I'm not clear. on the question.
Well, in reading the MOU, it lays out what facility, it says the Clayton County Jail. If they get arrested in Clayton County, where else would they go?
I think we took that part out.
That says Clayton County Jail.
They would go to the Clayton County Jail.
Uh-huh. And it says the chief law enforcement officer of the county of Clayton. Who is that?
I say it's me.
But legally,
better redefine
I got
that.
But legally, isn't that the sheriff? The legal chief law enforcement officer of the county is the sheriff. Is that not correct?
Again, Commissioner, he's responsible for certain things, but, there's.
I understand. I'm not mincing words. I'm just saying when you have a MOU, a contract, this says, and I'll read the entire statement, the chief law enforcement officer of the county of Clayton shall be the primary law enforcement officer for unincorporated Clayton County and shall be in command of the overall law enforcement operations therein. So if I'm reading that with all the legal armor, that person is the sheriff.
Well, Commissioner, our powers come through the commission board, the police departments, and we have a charter, through the state legislature that gives us the power through the commission board to police Clayton County as a whole.
I got that, but when we're talking about who is in charge, it gives it to the chief law enforcement
Exactly.
officer, who is the sheriff.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
that
we
should be
want it to be the
changed.
Clayton County Police Department. It should
should say
say
that.
the Clayton County Police Department, not the chief law enforcement. Even though I think you are great, but legally, the chief law enforcement officer is the sheriff of the county.
Could that be fixed by saying law enforcement for the Board of Commissioners of the County of Clayton? So that we're designating the body, the police law enforcement officer on behalf of the Board of Commissioners versus the geographical jurisdiction?
It can be amended, yes. It can be amended.
I know, but would that be satisfactory?
As long as it doesn't give the power to somebody that you didn't intend to have the power. I think what you intend is that the chief of police for Clayton County, that this power rests in your office.
Yes, ma'am. Understanding the dynamics of the situation, when you pick up the phone, 911, that comes through the police department. For the most part, we're the first responders. I don't want to tell the sheriff how to do his job, but we're there when you pick up the phone to call 911.
I understand that. I'm just saying in writing it says who.
So we need to clear that
Right.
up, basically. We just need to clear that up to make sure that, because he's the one who's going to ultimately sign this MOU. So we need to specifically state, instead, to Commissioner Rook's point,
Yeah.
chief law enforcement officer is the sheriff. If he's signing and being responsible for it, he needs to be able to sign it under the chief of police for the county police department, or something verbiage like that. So
We can amend it.
Change the word.
Do we have time for this one before MARTA? Do we have time before the next meeting?
the 21st is when they start, yes,
It's
because
the
there's no
same
buses
week.
rolling, so I guess next meeting is on the
Can we
17th.
just, can we withdraw this and bring it back till this week?
So we can't put the number of police in here, MARTA police?
I will be asking for additional
can't.
police personnel in the budget now.
We
Commissioner.
voted that away.
You can't do that. Okay, so is there a motion to table this?
I'll offer the motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll second it.
All right, properly moved and second. Those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous.
something back at the March 17th meeting.
Okay. Don't do it.
Next is resolution number 2015-56, which is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to enter into a performance agreement with Freestyle Productions LLC, providing for the terms and conditions under which live entertainment will be performed at Clayton County International Park, to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense, to provide an effective date of this resolution, and for other purposes. This is for live entertainment to be performed at the beach during Memorial Day weekend activities on Saturday, May 23rd, and during 4th of July activities on Friday, July 4th.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Probably moved in second. Any questions?
I have some questions. Ms. Barnes, these are really legal, I think, in nature, but the contract, the MOU, the contract, and my concerns have to do with the recently adopted noise ordinances specific around these holidays, specifically at the beach and how we manage those. This contract on item number 8, sound and lighting systems, on page 3 of 7. And if you're comfortable with this, I want your advice, but that last sentence says, notwithstanding the above, the adjustment of volume and sound levels of any equipment will be at the sole discretion of the purchaser. Now, I want to say in the noise ordinances, there's some line items about what we authorize and what we don't as exempt from those ordinances. And item number 26 says, no part of the performance may consist of acts in violation of any local laws, codes, statutes, etc. So legally, are we going to be able, when they have their sound check at 12 noon, to make sure that those windows aren't rattling in the neighborhoods? Because if not, I'd like to ask this be removed until we get the language consistent with our new noise ordinances.
We can definitely work on that. I think that the language that you pointed out in section 26 states that no part of the performance may consist of acts of violation of any local laws, codes, which would include our noise ordinance, but to ensure that the promoter or to ensure that they understand that there will be certain cutoff times or what have you.
And decibel levels.
Decibel levels, exactly, to be in
Because
compliance.
if I remember
with
when
our
you and I worked on the noise ordinance, there's some exceptions to that if the county, well, I want to make sure that those are addressed, that we don't have the same issues that we had that precipitated us creating those
the
ordinances.
noise ordinance. Yes, we can work on that. We can work on that and bring it back.
Would you mind? I mean, this isn't until May and
That's
July,
fine.
so just making sure the neighbors are happy.
So is that motion to table?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
Second.
Probably moved in second. Those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous.
And last is Resolution 2015-60, and I will tell you, I provided the clerk with an updated copy of the amendment that is the subject of this resolution. This is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to amend its agreement for the maintenance and use of hospital authority facilities with the Clayton County Hospital Authority, providing for the terms and conditions under which payment of tax revenues will be paid and distributed to the Clayton County Hospital Authority, to authorize the chairman to execute the amendment and otherwise perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect the appropriations and expenditures relating thereto, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes. This amendment will accelerate the county's distribution to the hospital authority and make the final payment due on March 15th, 2015, as opposed to June of this year. It will also, in the updated amendment, will also amend the agreement to cause the agreement to terminate upon the authority's receipt of these funds or on June the 30th of this year, whichever occurs later. And that's what has been, the updated amendment has been provided to you, but that's what the amendment will do.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Probably moved in second. Any questions?
Yes, but I think you may have answered my question with the amendment. I was, because I remembered that 7 point whatever was voted on last year and all.
It just moves the money up. We
So
don't
now
have to
you-
do a budget amendment.
And it was already
We're just giving
budgeted.
it to them, 'cause
Yes.
we already got it.
The money is already
I wonder why we
budgeted. They're
voting
just
on it
asking
again.
for the payment to be accelerated for operational costs.
Instead of
That's
giving it
correct.
to them every month, we're just giving it to
I
them.
have a question. Why is the request to pay them early instead of according to the calendar time?
Ms. Ryan, if you could,
What's that poster board in the back for? Is that us?
I don't know, I didn't see it either.
Oh, okay. I was waiting to see it, like, did I?
Yes,
Okay.
we're requesting, we have a solid plan for financial stability. Part of that plan is to secure some cash in the short term. so
Can
that
you
we-
turn the mic, speak more to the mic?
And could you please state your name for me for the record, please?
Yes, hello, I'm Kim Ryan, President and CEO of Southern Regional. The request is to give us some time to implement the plan for financial stability that we have in place, that we've shared with our board, that we've shared with our physicians and our employees, and gets us some cash to cover what every hospital in the country faces in January of each year when the new plans go in place and you have the high deductibles and you have really a low period of elective surgeries and admissions. So our vendors still need to be paid, but we don't have the cash coming in. February is a different month, and it brings more business, and we have had more business in February. And this will get us through that January lull and get us into a fuller implementation of the plan that we have for volume growth and productivity improvements and physician alignment.
Will the commissioners get a chance to see this plan?
Yes, I have scheduled meetings with each of you, beginning with Chairman Turner next Monday.
Can we not hold this until we see this plan?
I hadn't passed it around since I wasn't sure.
We certainly could. I'm trying to get everyone scheduled in the next 2 weeks.
So,
I would like to
They
hold
might
it.
miss the next meeting.
I'm sorry?
They might miss the next meeting unless they're scheduled.
Okay, I need to see a
Meetings.
plan.
Thank you.
Okay.
I agree. I too would like to see a plan.
I gotta see the plan.
We have a motion and we have a second. So unless there's gonna be another motion to table it, I don't hear any. Is that a motion to table?
Well, let me ask you a question, Ms. Ryan. Would you prefer to table this, or would you like us to vote on it right now?
Tell us what's gonna happen.
I mean, do we have some short-term and some longer-term plans?
Yeah, you want me to review real quickly the plans?
If there's some urgency that we should consider tonight, certainly share that with us.
Yes. The first part of the plan is immediate cash sources, and the first one is to increase our line of credit that was adopted last year with the SPLOST and your funding, and then to get your funds advanced and the state funds advanced. We're meeting with the state tomorrow morning. Then we have productivity improvements and a reduction in force, and that happened this week. We have productivity improvements. We have a comparative group that we looked at that is the equal size and scope of our facility. Those are 80 FTEs, and that's happened. That's $5 million reduction. Then we have a volume growth initiative, and that's a surgical growth, and that's meeting with each of our surgeons that have privileges and asking for their business. We have already begun to see that increase in business. I feel confident that that will continue to increase, improve the flow through our emergency department, and reduce the number of people that leave before they're seen. We have seen improvement in that as well. We have a direct admit program so that physicians can admit patients directly to the floor into a room instead of going through the emergency department. And then we have 5 programs that I'm working aggressively with Emory University in building in the Southern Crescent, and those are heart and vascular, orthopedics, their Winship Cancer Program, neurosurgery and neurology, and transplant. And then aligning physicians that we call splitters that admit to Southern Regional and also to another facility to get more of their volume to our facility. We've, again, begun to see volume growth. February was a much higher census than January. These funds are to get us through this short-term period and then give us time to fully implement the rest of the plan. And I can certainly share in more detail with you at a later time.
So, Ms. Barnes, procedurally, if this fails, then when, do they have an opportunity to bring this back? Or should they table it to the next meeting?
Turning it down.
The board, it's the pleasure of the board. The board can either postpone this amendment as it reads right now, which would call for the final payment to be made March 15th of 2015. You can postpone this, or it's possible that if the board doesn't take any action tonight to do any change to their distribution schedule, then the next payment, we can change it again going forward to say that the last payment would be April 15th of 2015. So it's the pleasure of the board. You can postpone it.
But if it dies tonight, we can't bring it back at the next board meeting, is my question. No.
Not without a change, not
Okay.
without there being some change.
But this is money that's already budgeted, so they're gonna get it regardless, whether it's a lump sum or whether it's spread over the next 4 months, correct?
That's correct. It's budgeted.
Well,
I move to table this until next board meeting.
Hold on a
sorry.
second.
Question.
Go ahead.
With this plan, were any of the county representatives, we appointed some people last year to serve on the hospital board or whatever, that were any of these people involved in the plan, or the making of the plan?
Yes, they were involved, and then it was discussed with them in detail at our last board meeting, full board meeting.
Do you know
And
who those
I think
representatives
3 out
were?
of the 4 county representatives were there.
Do you know which ones were there?
Felicia was there, Don McMillan was there, and Chief Landry Murkison was there.
Okay.
Now, from my understanding, Commissioners, and tell me if this is more information or that I'm right or wrong, but there are 2 things for this board to consider. There's a longer-term plan for what they're doing, what the hospital is doing, and as Mrs. Ryan outlined briefly there, and then that's not before us this evening at all. The shorter term is between now and the end of this fiscal year to consider accelerating the payments that we've already budgeted because of some cash flow issues over the next few months. Now, whether or not there's a plan that we agree or accept or consider going forward is a whole nother matter. But in this very short term, the only item before us now is to give them the money that we've already budgeted to give them, that we've already made an agreement with to give them, and that we've already collected. And I know that I, at least myself, was in 2 meetings with Ms. Ramona today. She just went home because she had a cold, and the funds are available. And that's the only thing. And whether or not there are plans after today is a whole nother conversation. And there's some urgency. Now, maybe we can table it till next week and maybe we can't, but if these funds aren't accelerated, there may not be any reason to have other conversations.
Well, there has to have been a reason why we structured the payments. Why not just give them the $7.4 million all at one time, if there wasn't a reason to structure it?
Well, the answer to that is we did that last year. And Dennis, I'm not in finance. You jump in if I'm. But as I recollect, the reason is because we budgeted that as part of the tax collection. So last June, July, when our fiscal year started, we hadn't yet collected the funds. But now that we're more than halfway through our fiscal year, we've collected the funds.
We have, and also, if you recall, the agreement really wasn't finalized till after the first quarter. So at that time, the decision was made to do it, provide them a monthly source of funds at that time, and that's how the agreement was established.
Yeah, and now we've got the funds. We've agreed to give it to them. We budgeted them, and they could really use it sooner than later.
We're talking
Do we have
14
the funds?
days. We're
We
talking
do have the
14
funds?
days.
Yes,
The funds are in,
funds are available. They're budgeted in the correct category. And we've already made payments to $4,933,000 out of those funds.
Okay, I'm asking for 14 days.
Okay, any other questions? Is there any other motions?
I'm making a motion to table this until next board meeting.
Second.
All right, properly moved in second. Those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Nay. It passes 4-1. Turner opposed. So we'll table it till next time.
And Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. I'd like an executive session to discuss litigation and a real estate matter.
Items number 22 and 23 are appointments to the Development Authority Board and the Urban Redevelopment Agency of Clayton County to fill the unexpired term of Robert L. Stevens, Jr., who has resigned. This term expires, both terms expires on March 1st, 2017. These are full board appointments. Are there any nominations?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Evans.
Mrs. Sharma.
Mr. Sharma resigned.
So there are two vacancies.
Well, he didn't resign. He asked not to be reconsidered.
So there are two vacancies.
There are two vacancies.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Eldrin Bell to the vacancy for Mr. Stevens.
I'll second it.
Properly moved in second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It's 3-2. It passes.
I'm sorry, who was that who opposed? Was that Gregory?
Hambrick and
Hambrick and Gregory.
Hambrick and
Items
Gregory.
20,
got stuck.
items 24 and 25 are appointments to the Development Authority Board and Urban Redevelopment Agency of Clayton County to fill the expired term of Chandler Sharma. As Commissioner Edmondson mentioned, he does not desire reappointment to either board. The terms are for 4 years, expiring on March 1st, 2019, and these are full board appointments. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Dave Murphy. Is there a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
If there is no further business, we did have an earlier request to go into executive session for litigation and real estate matters. May we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.